Hands off Latin America!
Hands off Latin America! Hands off Cuba!
Hands off Cuba!
Hands off Cuba! Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off!
Well, it's a show trial because it's being conducted completely outside of a framework of law, international law, or even the US's domestic law. You've got a head of state, democratically elected head of state, who's been kidnapped on completely trumped up charges.
On the entire population of that country, and it's attack on the sovereignty of the country.
Completely false. It's a case of international kidnapping and false imprisonment. So what else could it be than a show trial?
That dares to resist his brutal agenda, what he did to Palestine, to terrorize.
They won't give him a fair trial because the whole thing is a political adventure, a completely criminal political adventure where they want to make an example of Nicolás Maduro because he wouldn't go along with what they wanted. They want to make an example of Venezuela and the whole Bolivarian revolution because it wouldn't bow down to Trump's demands, to the US's demands. They want access to Venezuela's oil resources. They want to dominate its energy resources. They want to dominate its politics. They want to get rid of a very inconvenient state which stands against imperialism, that stands in solidarity with the peoples of the whole continent of Latin America and the Caribbean. I think we can't expect anything from Starmer, but we must demand that he stand up for the basic principles of international law, that he recognise the legitimate government of Venezuela, and very importantly, that the British government returns the Venezuelan gold that is languishing in the vaults of the Bank of England at this very moment.
In the Americas, to recognise Palestine.
If you stand for international law, if you oppose US aggression, you have to stand with the people of Venezuela and Latin America against what is now a long-term strategy for Donald Trump to colonise Latin America and impose what people are calling the Don Roe doctrine, where it basically is he's trying to turn every government in Latin America into a far-right government like Milei in Argentina, which will do exactly what the US says.
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Today in New York,
that tells us specifically how Trump wants to take dominance.
It is a disgrace, and of course we don't have indication of when it will end. In my view, I'm not a legal expert, but the political reading of this is, of course, that it's going to be used to elongate it, to drag it, to not bring really justice, and to try to exhaust his leadership.
we stand to defend the right of the Venezuelan people, not Donald Trump.
Where do you have a story of success and fair justice to any leader or to any person, not even to their own people? I mean, how many people get killed on a daily basis on racist attacks? How many migrants have been killed through ICE horrendous criminal ways? My Latino community is targeted every day. So, of course it's not going to get a fair trial. It's not getting it already. It's the United States.
Including in New York and Venezuela, standing against this show trial.
It's a show trial because there's absolutely no grounds whatsoever for him to have even been abducted. There's no validity whatsoever in any of the charges at all. It's an absolute sham.
So that combined with the absolute outrage that was the kidnapping
you won't get a fair trial because as it stands, they've already, Maduro and the Venezuelan government have long been vilified and demonized within the court of public opinion thanks to the corporate Western media. So that's going to influence any jurors who sit on his case. And furthermore, Washington has ensured that his chances of a fair trial have been sabotaged through the fact that they've cut off his access to financial aid to pay his lawyers.
To turn those countries into a US-backed colony.
Our demand has to be that Starmer pushes for the release of Maduro immediately. And it won't happen, unfortunately, because Starmer, ironically being a human rights lawyer and our former DPP, he is not going to uphold law, the ideals of law. He's not going to uphold international law because Downing Street has long been beholden to Washington.
He started a war in Iran So it can be quite easy to lose track.
No more coups, no more wars.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.